Because he loves us, right?
I do. All right. So, my friends, sorry I got to stay here because this computer had been used off battery for a while. It says, what page are we on?
145.
145? Okay. Page 145? Hey, it's Mr. Padovic.
You doing anything fun today?
Dang.
In case you want to
Okay. Hey.
It's busy work that keeps you from having.
All right. Hey, hang on, Mr. Padovic. All right. Somebody give me a year from 1970 to present.
91.
91, okay. 91 Super Bowl. Who was in it? Giants over the Bills? Where was it at? Who was the quarterback of the losing team? What was Eisenhower's middle name? David? What was Reagan's middle name? Who was George Washington's vice president? He's right. No applause. You can just throw it. You can throw it money. Thank you, Mr. President. All right.
That's crazy.
Mr. Padovic is a trivia king, I tell you. He's got it down.
What do you have from 1992 just as well?
Is he married?
Yes.
What if you ask him what's your wife's name?
That's a tough one.
Jason.
All right. In the year 2016, there's analysis of current studies in eating whole grain foods resulted in the following official summary published by that website. It says the meta-analysis provides further evidence that whole grain intake associated with reduced risk of coronary heart disease and cardiovascular disease. Does this... All right, everyone got their books out?
I do have my book.
I think there might be some that might not. Don't make me get up. All right, so meta-analysis provides further evidence that whole grain intake associated with reduced risk of coronary heart. Does this have positive or negative association? Yeah. It has negative association because it's reduced.
I'm not negative.
Yeah, I got you.
I wrote that down.
So it's negative. So if we made our line of best fit, our slope would also be negative, and that's okay. How does this summary imply cause and effect? Eating whole grains, reducing coronary disease.
Wait, what'd you say?
One is negative association.
Well, yeah.
And then eating more whole grains reduces coronary heart disease. Number 3, rewrite the sentence to more clearly eliminate any cause and effect. You could, and paraphrase this however you want. So, again, friends, some of you aren't paying attention, and we have a quiz tomorrow. So, if I want to rewrite and I want to protect myself, we could say something like, studies have shown that eating whole grains may lead to lowering coronary heart disease. Okay? However you want to pray. I mean, the big thing is may. But you could also put that few further studies might need to be done, things like that. So again, you're protecting yourself. You don't want to put a stamp that it does this. Okay? If you've eaten certain cereals that you might eat, you know, like Cheerios and things like that, it'll say may reduce something for a better heart disease. Okay, the Cheerios can't say will reduce. Yeah.
Wouldn't the phrasing is associated with when happy free veggie straw also work?
Yeah, that is pretty vague as it is. Yeah. So I think you're just doing the best you can to try and stay as protected as possible. Like, you don't want to claim ownership of it. That's the main thing in statistics. You're really trying to protect yourself, because if somebody were to make a statement and then somebody got sick of something because they only ingested, let's pick on Cheerios. Cheerios says will reduce plaque in your heart, and somebody goes into their heart surgeon and they have blocked arteries because of plaque. Well, they say eating Cheerios would reduce that. Cheerios could then be sued for making a false claim.
Well, could they argue that you can only reduce like such a small amount that's not noticeable?
Yes, they could get away with it. Now I bet you Cheerios has pretty good attorneys that they could use to. I mean, let's face it. Did big tobacco companies get sued for an awful lot of money? Those lawsuits went on for a long time with big tobacco because they're like, no, you can't really say that smoking is causing this. There's other factors. You know, the person who's a smoker overeats anyhow. It's like, well, no, there's some skinny supermodels that were smoking that now have these diseases too. So, you know, they can't do that. But they eventually they went and sued. So that's why on the side of tobacco products, they will have a disclaimer. And if you have a pack of cigarettes, don't pull it out and look at it right now because then I have to report you.
Even me?
But there are warnings that they purposely have to put federally mandated. If you ever go like into a gas station to pay for gas, you will see signs all around their tobacco products saying nicotine does this, smoking is bad for your health, smoking leads to birth defects and heart disease and all these other things. So they have to put those disclaimers now because, you know, you give society, here's the bad things that can happen. Let society make the choice if they want to ingest those products. Okay. Let's see. Down below, this is a mass media article. It says, want to live longer? Have a piece of whole grain toast or oatmeal for breakfast, and then eat popcorn as a snack, and put some buckwheat in your pasta. What's buckwheat?
Oh.
Okay. We gotta find some buckwheat.
It tastes bad.
Tastes bad? Okay. All right. So one study found that eating this number of whole grain servings each day can reduce the risk of heart disease. This came from data across 45 studies. Does this mass media article suggest cause and effect? It does seem that eating whole grains will be good for you. Okay. It does seem that it might reduce. Okay. But you got to be really cautious on this stuff. I mean, some of you in your careers, you might choose to be in advertising. Okay, advertising is pretty good. It's a good career, but you have to be careful as an advertiser not to have misleading information or make claims that aren't 100% right. Okay, so if you rewrite number 4, if you rewrite the first paragraph, that removes the implication of cause and effect. So they might say, you know, choosing to have, you know, a whole grain diet and lower processed foods and ingesting buckwheat on your pasta might lead to this. Further studies might have to take place in order to support it. So then you're not making the claim that is absolute. It is something that could take place, which is good. Okay, be honest with the public. I mean, advertising is just that. They want you to buy their product. Okay, why do all of the drug companies that are advertising, you know, take this is for type 2 diabetes, I have to take 1 tablet a day, and look at this, and then the little disclaimer, the little, really small print at the bottom, it'll say something that studies have shown that this may lead to lowering of this. There was a chip company that came out, and they were using an oil called Olean, which was a pretty processed oil. But what Olean basically did is it kind of intercepted your fat receptors in your body. So that particular chip, though it was high in fat because of the oil, it had something in there with the Olean that didn't allow your fat receptors in your body to absorb the fat, so you basically put it through. They had to put a disclaimer on their bag of chips that said, this may cause loose stool, meaning you might poop yourself. Okay? I kid you not. I kid you not. If you look up any of the Olean things, there was a disclaimer that they had to have on their commercials that if you're ingesting this product, you might mess yourself.
That's why toilets are so
That's not a product that I want to go and ingest. Okay?
What if it's like laxative chips?
It's basically what it was. I mean,
They
so
should have sold it as like a medical thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so that's like
Ingest this Olean and you're going to be using the restroom nonstop.
Yeah.
Put a
Mix
toy.
them all lean and you'll be clean.
That would be true.
Golden.
All right, on the back page, I think this is like 145-ish.
smells good.
Says a scatter plot shown below, and it shows arm strength as the vertical and grip strength, so your hand strength in the x-axis. It says, despite the fact that both the axes are labeled and tick marks, something. Who's calling me? Potential spam. I should answer, but I'm not.
Where's the choo-choo? Where's the choo-choo?
I didn't turn my phone. It's on the red mode, so I can't. All right, so it says, despite the fact that both axes are labeled and tick marked, something is missing. What more information should the scatter plot show that makes it more understandable? Okay, yeah, line of best fit. Having the correlation, having the R value there. These are things that you should do. I mean, that particular thing, it says estimate the correlation. So I can tell you this, that my R value's got to be positive. And I'd say if you gave an answer between probably 0.5 to 0.7, that might be in a good range. You know, if you gave me 0.8 on the test, positive 0.8, I'm still going to give it to you. Okay. If you gave me as R value as, you know, positive 1, that's not a perfect straight line with that data point. So please don't put that. And it says, interpret your correlation in the context of the scatter plot. So basically shows that as your arm strength, as your vertical component increases, your grip strength also increases. Okay, that kind of makes sense. And then let's see, explain why each statement is false. Number 8, a correlation of 0 indicates that a scatter plot looks like a random scatter of points. Yeah, correlation of 0, R value 0, looks like you had a fistful of mud and you threw it against the wall. It just splattered all over the place. There's not a pattern to it. Yeah.
Well, couldn't you have a correlation of 0 and you still have a pattern? Like
You could.
or the 0?
Yeah, so let's say we start out with this. That's looking pretty good for a correlation, yes? But then all of a sudden, now I'm going to add points like this. Okay, so there looks like there could be somewhat of a positive pattern to it, but that actually might be pretty close to 0 because this is how the correlation is actually figured out. You have a line of best fit and you have data points. Okay, how that R value is done is you have a R value is a one-dimensional, it's a vertical dimension of how far you are away from the line of best fit that your computer would think it is. If the distances here are equal to the distances here, that R value will also be 0. Even though it looks like somewhat, it's just the matter of the distances have to be. So you could show some sort of pattern. Yes, you could show, you know, like this type of thing. And that's definitely a pattern as well. If I was to do so I only use the R value only on a line of best fit. Okay, a straight line. So this kind of situation probably would have an R value of 0 as well. So a pattern could indeed take place, but it's basically the vertical distance above and below the line of best fit. All of those distances summed up, average distance summed up. So you have positive distance and negative distance depending upon above and below. If you add all those up and they cancel completely out, that means that it's going to be an R value of 0. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So what was it?
I just explained it. So basically, a random scattering of points is a way to have an R value of 0. If you put that, you're fine. Basically, if you heard what I said of saying the distance of each point above and below, if I add all those distances up and they cancel each other out, because you have a positive distance, like if here's my line of best fit, if I have a point here, I have a vertical distance. If I have a point down here and it's the same vertical distance, those two would kind of cancel each other out. Yeah, above and below, above, positive, negative, below. Okay. It could be false. I mean, you could put some disclaimer in there. For the most part, as far as what you know right now, a random scattering of points is an R value of 0. Yeah.
I think the question is asking if you have an R value of 0, that it's always going to be a random scatter.
Oh, so I guess the answer has to be no then.
Yeah, we're supposed to explain why.
So if I add all the distances above and below, that would also give me 0, and there would be a pattern. Sounds good. Thank you. Number 9, the best way to show cause and effect relationship is if the correlation shows a strong linear relationship. Explain why that would be false. How do I want to say that? Best way to show cause and effect relationship if the correlation shows a strong linear relationship. I'd say as far as what we've done so far in this chapter, I'd say that statement is not false at this point. We will future learn other ways that it will become, yeah, I would just go with true. I would go with that. That's false as it sits. And, you know, because a strong linear relationship means our correlation, R value. So far we've learned R values, but there are other things that we'll learn as we progress in the class that will say, okay, here's the R value. Okay, here's this, here's this. You have like 4 different tests of evidence that we will eventually get to. As of right now, as of today, as of tomorrow's quiz, we don't know anything beyond the R value for our test of if it falls good. And then number 10, 11, and 12. So R value of negative 0.5, that might look something like this. That might be, you know, maybe you have a couple dots out there. So this looks like I would have a line of best fit kind of there. An R value of positive 0.9 is pretty close to a straight line. Okay. And then an R value of negative 1, that would basically be, our points would fall pretty much in a straight line just like that. Okay. So you'd have a positive slope. So M equals positive here. M equals negative here as far as our slope of our line. Okay. It might not be a negative 1 slope, you know, slope you learned algebra 1. So my friends, tomorrow we will have the quiz on 2-1 to 2-3, 10 minutes on your own, or actually 11 minutes on your own, and then the rest of the time prepare, share, and revise. I made it 16 pages. I'm kidding. So those are a few things, also things that are just to be aware of. So yes, even though we do have the compare, share, and revise, you are always welcome to come in and see me. I'm off 1st, I'm off 4th, 5th, and 6th. Come in and see me. I'm happy to go over your test with you, and you can earn half your points back. And there's even the possibility that I've had quite a few students who have come in, and it's like, well, this is how I read that question. And it's like, okay, I can see how your answer would be that, and I will award the full points back on that one. So that's something that's kind of cool. But it basically means please, please, please advocate for your points. You know, just because Billy said the answer was B and you got it wrong doesn't mean you can't get at least half that point back. So, you know, I don't know who Billy is, so I'm just saying as an art. Fortunately, I probably don't have a Billy in here. Who's Billy? Let's get him. So